Thank you very much for having me here this evening. Especially thank you, Michelle, Annelise, and Cindy for organizing all that and for giving me the chance to share my passion, which is to create a ripple effect on people's health. So today I will talk, let me open please my screen here. Whoops. Yeah, of course. Share screen and it doesn't. Mhm. Okay. So Cindy, I
Hold on,
just press
hold on,
share.
hold on,
Yeah, okay.
hold on. Okay, and I'll try.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. It was working when I did it with myself, but now of course it doesn't. So just let me check.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So you can see my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So today I will talk about how to increase our energy levels and how to improve our immune system. Since this is quite a challenge, obviously, as Michelle stated very correctly, and I would add that we are kind of curious if we will make it over 2020 in a way. So it's obviously a challenge. So to begin, allow me to have a small exercise with you. So please take 3 deep breaths and just follow me. Trust me. So close your eyes and please think of how many mornings in the last 7 days you woke up feeling tired and drained. Think day by day. Go back. Wednesday, Tuesday, and so on. 30 seconds. Okay, so please keep your eyes closed and think of how this lack of energy really felt. Go throughout your body. Was it a headache? Did you feel a pain in your neck or your shoulders or maybe your back? Or was it your legs that felt heavy? Maybe your brain was foggy or not clear. 20 more seconds. Okay, so please come back and open your eyes and just keep this information for you. There is no, no need to share it really here. So when speaking of energy levels, we need to say a few things about the immune system. To be immune means to be protected. And what helps the body to be protected against external factors and diseases is called the immune system. So, in general, our immune system is made of a network of cells, tissues, and organs that work together to protect the body against viruses, bacteria, and various parasites. So just imagine an army of soldiers or a team of superheroes operating together to keep us safe. So these two systems, immune system and energy levels, are directly linked, like a puzzle in a way. Low immunity has a direct impact on our levels of energy. And low energy or chronic fatigue often derives from low immunity or from the malfunctioning of the immune system. When having low energy levels, the immune system appears unable to shut down really. It's continuously on. There is a continuous pumping of cytokines, which is a protein playing a very important role in the immune system. So from that cytokine surge, the immune system loses its resilience and becomes weaker and kind of unbalanced. So the other point that I wanted to note as an introduction, which is important, is that often we think that this lack of energy is normal, especially during the weekdays, because we are working too much or we have too many responsibilities and duties. So we think that it is what it is, and will come the weekend and we will have the time to relax. But then comes the weekend, and again, we are on a rush, either with kids or with social events or whatever. And comes Monday, and again, we are completely drained. So this is a kind of a vicious circle that our life is in. So we know it, but we don't really do anything against it. So in the first part of this presentation, I will tell you which are the main symptoms or the signs showing that our immune system is low. Then, in the second part, I will explain what are the risks which are associated with the low immune system or with low levels of energy. And finally, in the third part, I will give you a few easy life-changing tips on how to transform yourself, really. So what are the symptoms? So having low energy levels doesn't only mean feeling often tired. If you always pick up what everyone else has, if you get the flu every year, if you have chronic colds and frequent runny noses, well, it probably means that your levels of immunity are not very good, or that there is a kind of imbalance, let's say. If you feel sleepiness during the day, if you have trouble waking up in the morning or trouble falling asleep at night, if you have mood issues or feel anxiety very often, if you have respiratory issues and don't breathe well, or if you can't easily recover from physical activity and you have joint pains, or also if your levels of blood sugar are high, or if you have skin conditions or hair problems, your hair is weak. Well, if you have one of those symptoms consistently and constantly, I would say, or if you have a few of them often, then it probably means that there is an unbalance in your immune system, and that hence your levels of energy are not high enough or at the level where they could be or they should be. So why do we need to change, really? So a part of having those day-to-day annoying signs, which obviously decrease our quality of life and somehow impedes also our daily activities, a continuous low immunity system and lack of energy increases our risk of disease, especially diseases which are related with low immunity levels. So this can lead to regular infections, but it can also trigger autoimmune disorders and be the cause of serious diseases. And that could happen when the immune system attacks healthy cells to the body by mistake. So we mostly think here of autoimmune disorders such as celiac disease or multiple sclerosis or Hashimoto or arthritis, lupus, and others. Thankfully, those cases are rare and are quite often linked also to genetic causes, but they can happen. And epigenetic science tend to think that even those autoimmune disorders can be regulated by a healthy lifestyle. So a continuous lack of energy is also cause number one of depression. The other issue is that chronic fatigue results in a lack of alertness and slower reactions to signals or situations. And this is true both for physical reactions and for mental reactions. So this actually means that your ability to take good decisions is affected. You will often don't do the right movement, and this may increase, obviously, the risk of injury and of getting hurt physically. But it can also affect your decisional process in your work or your family. It generally means that you are not able or you are not at your best to take a good decision for yourself. So low energy will have also a great impact on the quality of your relations. And there is usually an impact on the way we interact with the people around us. We often don't find the right words, or we are not patient enough in delicate situations, in our day-to-day social relations, and also in our family. At last, but not least, most of the times when we lack of energy, we tend to have an unbalanced diet. We don't make good choices of food when we are tired. We tend to believe that we need to compensate with sugar intake, with caffeine, or even alcohol, and we think that those are the boosters that will make us go through, but actually they are not. And this is the vicious circle we go in. So having said all that, the problem is that it's very difficult to change, simply because it requires to get out of our comfort zone. When we have settled our lives with bad habits, we are used to them and we can't get rid of them. And sometimes we don't even want to get rid of them. We don't want to change. We are stuck in our bad habits, in our way of unhealthy or partly unhealthy living. So I recently read a book on how to change your habits. Maybe some of you have heard about it. It's called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And I really recommend it. It's really worth reading it. What it says briefly is that in order to get rid of a so-called bad habit, we must replace it by another one, a new one. We must change the routine. We must change what we are doing between the launching moment or the signal triggering the habit and the moment of satisfaction that comes at the end of the process. So for example, if you want to lose weight or if you want to change the way you feed yourself, and if you are continuously snacking junk food and can't stop yourself, you first need to analyze your habits. Why do I snack? Is it that I'm bored? Is it that I'm anxious? Or maybe just because I'm hungry? Then, once you understand the reason, the triggering reason, the signal, really, you try to replace this habit with a new one, a new routine. For example, have a healthy breakfast or go for a walk with a friend after the lunch, or have a 5 minutes meditation instead of snacking. So this new routine will give you the same satisfaction in a way, but together with this new habit, we should also find a new system of belief. This is what Charles Duhigg is describing very well. This new system of the belief will help us installing the new routine. So that could be a group of friends, a group of people having the same issue or trying to get rid of the same habit. It can be one friend or it can be a professional. So sometimes in order to change, we really need to touch the bottom, to have a real burnout. And then this is a clock that signals us that we can't go backwards, only forward. Then you know you must do something. And this reminds me of Arianna Huffington, who is Greek, by the way, and who is a co-founder of Huffington Post and the Thrive Global. She's very successful. And what she has admitted in many of her interviews is that she has collapsed from exhaustion and burnout, but she literally collapsed. She broke her cheekbone and she was found in a pool of blood. And this was a trigger which made her change completely of lifestyle. So she is insisting a lot in the power of sleep. Sleep, she says, is non-negotiable. Actually, many studies nowadays show that people that lack of sleep are more eager to get health issues. But I will speak a little bit more about sleep a bit later. So for now, this leads me to the final part of my presentation, which I think is really what we need to remember from all that. And trust me, if you follow a few of this, or maybe everything, you will definitely see a life transformation. So what are those practical tips? How do we change? Which are the main immunity boosters that are easy to find everywhere and to include in our daily life? Most of them, we know them, but there is no way I can do a presentation on immunity levels and energy levels without even mentioning them. So which are the ones we normally know? So it's vitamin C, obviously, which is very important against infections. So we find it in a variety of food, but mostly in citrus fruits, in tomatoes, and in red bell peppers. Very big amount of vitamin C in red bell peppers. Vitamin D, but we have to be a little bit careful on the quantity we get. Vitamin A and vitamin E that we find in a variety of food, really. Garlic, don't forget this one, an easy one. It's a fantastic antioxidant, really. Better and easier, I think, to eat it raw, because otherwise it might not be very pleasant. And finally, also limit your animal proteins, especially if you are over 45 or 50. Having said that, chicken broth is very good because it has high levels of B6 and of amino acids. But in general, we should try to replace animal proteins by plant proteins and by collagen also. No need to, unless you are a vegan or a vegetarian, no need to take out completely red meat, but limit it. So it is essential to have a balanced diet in general and make sure that we have all the daily intake of vitamins, of minerals, and of nutrients that we need depending on our age, on our level of activity, and our bio-individuality. And what I mean by bio-individuality is that when people ask me, how much of this should I take or how much of that, well, there is no golden rule really. Same for calories. No golden rules for calories. It depends. But today I would also like to share with you some of my golden superfoods that I'm trying to have every day. It's very easy to find them everywhere, really. It's just about thinking of them and buy them or try to think them when you do your everyday shopping, in a way, everyday food shopping. So ginger is a fantastic immune booster. I normally have it in warm water, so I have a big carafe of warm water when I work during the day, and I have ginger, lemon, and cinnamon in it. So it's really a very good booster, and it keeps your levels of water also. Turmeric spice is absolutely amazing. It contains curcumin, which is an immense natural anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. I add it mostly in soups, in rice, and even in smoothies. Matcha. So some of you might know matcha. I discovered matcha maybe a year ago. So it comes from the same plant like green tea, but it's grown a little bit differently. And from this process of the way it's grown, it contains nutrients from the entire leaf of the tea. And it results in a greater amount of antioxidants that is typically found in green tea. It can protect the immune system, it reduces cell damage, and it prevents chronic disease. It even helps in weight loss. So matcha, you can use it in the morning instead of drinking coffee. And what I found is that it's even much better than coffee because it gives this alertness like coffee, but it doesn't have the downside effects that one has sometimes after drinking coffee. And this is due to a nutrient which is in it, which is called L-theanine. And that L-theanine is what alters the effects of caffeine, which is contained in matcha anyway. So that promotes even more alertness in a way. So how I drink it, it's just with almond milk, just to erase this bitter taste that some may find that matcha has. So cocoa powder and maca powder. Maca powder comes from a Peruvian plant which is grown in the Andes Mountains, and it has a bit of an earthy flavor. I add it in yogurts and sometimes in a few salads and sometimes also in smoothies. It's also a booster, and it's also known to increase libido, especially to men. Don't ask me why, I don't know, especially to men. So almonds and sunflower seeds are absolutely fantastic. And of course, green vegetables. So the kings are kale, broccoli, spinach, a big bowl of green vegetables. I think that it's really a must every day. So the other general AAA rule is R. So water, water, water. Don't forget it. I will tell you my story about water. So a few years ago, I would drink maybe 2 or 3 glasses of water per day. Or when I had more heavy trainings in some kind of competitions that I was participating, then okay, maybe I would go up to a liter per day. But this is really nothing. So I went in one of my regular checkups and I confessed to my doctor that I was only having this quantity of water, and he got completely crazy and mad at me. So then I realized that I have to include it, and I was forced to change that. So I adopted a new habit. And I started drinking 3 liters per day. And then I really felt an amazing difference in my body. So, water protects our joints, it keeps our tissues and our spinal cord healthy. It helps remove waste and toxins. It aids in digestion, and it helps also our brain work optimally. The other thing also is that it helps us eat healthier. We don't often think about that. But if you wake up in the morning and have 2 or 3 glasses of water before anything else, you will probably be more eager to have a healthy breakfast than having a breakfast which is not very healthy. So, no, no, no to sugar. If you can take out completely sugar of your life, you will feel an amazing difference. And this is one of the biggest present you can do to yourself and to your body. Avoid also as much as you can gluten. It works. Don't need to take it out completely unless you have some gluten sensitivity or allergic to gluten, obviously, but try to avoid it in general. And this is what also many athletes do. And it's one of the best recommendations to get your energy. So see, for instance, Djokovic, before becoming number one tennis player, he felt very high levels of exhaustion before or after his games. And a few years ago, he started keeping gluten and sugar completely out of his diet, and he was completely cured and re-energized. So if it works for Djokovic, it might work for us too. So as I said before, sleep, sleep, sleep. Waking up fully recharged makes a huge difference. We now have even the scientific evidence that sleep is number one. We are so much more effective and constructive when we take the time to recharge. So unless you have a genetic mutation and only 1 to 1.5% of the population has, and they only need a few hours of sleep per day, the vast majority of us need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Our brain clears completely all the toxins that we have accumulated throughout the day. And if we don't sleep enough, obviously it has a huge impact on our cognitive performance and on our levels of energy. So move, move, move. Even if only walking is your thing, just do it every day. Also increase your flexibility levels. If I had to choose between 3 different exercises, cardiovascular, flexibility, exercises for flexibility, and exercises to increase strength, if I had to choose one of them, I would probably only include flexibility. It's essential, especially when we get over 50 or even over 40 sometimes. So it can be yoga, or it can be even simple stretching exercises. So you don't need to train and exercise hard unless you really like it and it makes you feel good. So no need to go for long jogs and spend hours at the gym, because that will drain, again, your energy, unless you really feel good after it. But in any case, do have some physical activity every day. So more generally, try to find balance in your life. Balance of all the sectors of your life. Having a balanced life means to consider all sectors of our lives equally according to our priorities, really. Find the balance in the main pillars of our life. So, which are those pillars? It's our health and our self-care. That comes number one. Family, career, relationships, and social life, and also spirituality. Because when we pursue balance in the sectors of our life, we tend to become more aligned, mind, body, and soul wise. And that only will encourage the levels of synchronicity in our life. When our lives are aligned, we tend also to be at the right place at the right moment. People that live their life with respect to the laws of nature tend to be more at the right place at the right time. Whereas people that are more out of balance tend to be at the wrong place at the wrong moment. It's just like the rest of the universe. In a way, balance harmoniously allows all elements in nature to coexist. And in the same way, a balanced life readjusts all the forces in our body and soul, allowing us to live happily. Think about that. So once we seek and find the balance in our lives, it will also be possible to bring a good level of connection with ourselves and with others. Simple things, simple things. Just have a walk in the nature with yourself or with a friend. Listen to music with your husband or with your wife or with your other half. Laugh with your kids, laugh with your friends, and try to find a passion, something you really like, something you really enjoy. So believe it is possible to get to the right mindset and action towards a transformation of your life. Actions towards consistent new habits, which will allow us to live energized, healthy, and happy. So if I wanted to wrap up this presentation, let me remind you the main points. So I explained why immunity system and low energy levels are linked. I described the main symptoms of low immunity: chronic colds, anxiety, sleep, respiratory issues, hair and skin problems, digestive issues, bad physical recuperation. I explained why we need to change: serious diseases, rarely, but they may happen, risk of depression, lack of alertness, impact on the quality of relations, impacts on the nutrition choice. I reminded you the general tip, which is to have a balanced diet: vitamin C, D, A, fibers. I confessed which are my preferred ones: ginger, turmeric, matcha, maca, green vegetables, and almonds. Then I went through the main life boosters: water, zero sugar, sleep, and movement. And at the end, I explained you why having a balanced life, ready to connect and act, is essential to regain our energy. So as Socrates was saying, the secret is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. So please, before closing, allow me to have one more exercise with you. So please close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Trust me and think. Just imagine how it would feel if from Monday to Friday, from Friday to Sunday, you would wake up feeling balanced, energized, and happy. How would this impact your body and your life? 20 seconds. Thank you.
I'm just unmuting everyone. Hold on. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
You can also just ask everyone to unmute themselves, or if they want to talk and
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Alex. You just did. So if everyone could just unmute themselves, and if you have questions, you can feel free to add them to the chat bar, or you can ask them direct to Isabelle. Thank you, Isabelle. That was amazing. Tons of great tips. Oh, and thanks for unsharing your screen. It helps to.
I have a question. I mean, it's always, it seems to be always the case where you're kind of preaching to the choir, you know? If I look at the women who are on this call, I mean, the ones I know anyway, we're here because we want to hear this, you know, but it's kind of, especially in this pandemic where many of our members are staying home and being on lockdown, and you know, who knows how they feel, you know, and I feel like everyone could have kind of this positive talk, but how do you get them there? You know, it's like, how do you lead the horse to water? You know.
Yes. Yes, well, it was what I was explaining, you know, sometimes we really need to touch the bottom.
Yeah,
to
they're gonna
change.
have to figure,
Yes.
they have to get themselves there, is what you're saying.
Yes, but on the other hand, you know, I think that the people around them can help them and can help them understand that, you know, there is something they can do. If you cannot help yourself by yourself, then, you know, it's your surrounding that needs to give you the motivation, the inspiration, to give a hand, without forcing, of course, because with force, you know, nothing can happen. But, you know, just be there and listen to them, and, you know, be open to their anxiety. I think that this is already something. And anyway, you know, we can only meet someone where he is. You know, we cannot go deeper. So this is something that happens step by step, obviously. So, but yes, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a process. It's a process.
Thank you.
Isabelle, can I ask, can you in the chat box maybe just put the title of the book that you were talking about and the author?
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I also want to ask you something about nutrition. I've been a vegetarian for 4 years, and I have a big struggle on protein that contains a lot of carbs. You know, in the plant world, our proteins, or my big thing that I go to is like legumes and lentils and all those things that's forbidden in healthy eating. So
well, not
can you
forbidden, but
give some advice on that?
Yes, if you have too much, then the carbs are too many. So I was actually, I might try to send it, because I was listening to a very interesting podcast lately on that. So what it was said is that you need to add protein powder in your diet, and also collagen. And then you have also what I do. Well, I eat meat seldom, but I do. You have how do you call it? Oh gosh, I have something. Tofu. You have you have you have tofu, and you have this other thing, the Japanese, you know, that looks like like beans, the green ones.
Edamame.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Mhm.
But in general, it's not easy to find plant-based proteins with no carbs, obviously.
Yeah, not trying to cut out carbs completely, but the beans and the lentils have so much carbs, and being through menopause, the weight is also adding to the life. So, but my doctor is saying to me that I need to eat more protein.
Yeah.
So
Then you have mushrooms also.
yeah. Okay, mushrooms is a good one. Yeah,
Mushrooms is a good one.
yeah.
But I would really consider to add some protein powder in my diet if I was. I mean, you need to check it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But is that me? This noise? I hope not. No, it's okay. Yes, protein powder together with collagen powder
Mm-hmm.
is a very good mix, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
Do you take
I have a
supplemental
question.
vitamins?
I'm sorry, Emily had a question.
Oh, you can go ahead, Adrienne.
No, I was just picking up on the collagen powder because I take that, a marine derived collagen powder, but I was taking it pre and post bunion surgery because I was hoping it would help me heal. And I've just been taking it because I've read about other benefits with joints and skin health. And I wondered if I'm doing it right by taking it in my tea. I take it in hot drinks by mixing it in tea or blending it in broth.
Collagen, you mean? Collagen? Did I hear
Yes,
correctly?
powder
Yes.
collagen.
Yes.
So it's okay to take it warm, mixed in tea.
Yes, of course. You can take it as you wish. I usually have it in warm water. And some collagen also have, some vanilla taste or cocoa taste.
Okay. And one last question. I know you said you drink warm water with I know you said ginger and
Lemon, ginger, and cinnamon. Yes.
okay, because I do that with but I don't know if my water is too hot. You said warm, but I just put it on the tea kettle and then I'll
Yeah.
squeeze lemon so it's not too hot to.
No, depends how you like it. I prefer warm and not very, very hot. But yes, of course.
Thanks for the tip. I'm gonna add
my-
cinnamon now.
I was going to say, my husband says that you have to, you can't put like boiling water, because I like ginger water too. And he says just wait 10 minutes after it boils because it should be 70 degrees. Is that right?
Yes, but anyway, you cannot drink it also when it's boiling hot.
Right. But I mean, you shouldn't pour it in.
It's like tea, it's like tea. It's the same concept. So I'm trying to go through your questions in the chat.
I feel like I cut Emily off.
Sorry, Emily.
Well, I was just going to ask if you recommend taking any vitamins or supplements, or if you get them all from natural foods.
Well, this is a huge conversation. It's really very personal. It really depends on each of you and how you feel, etc. What I do is that 2 or 3 times a year, 2 times a year, and especially now, I have many different vitamins that I'm taking, because otherwise, it's quite difficult for me to say that, every day during my whole life, I will take 1 or 2 or 3. So I prefer to have it for a few months and I take all of them. And then I stop. And I think also that maybe it's good also for the body, not to get used to it. So what I have every day, every year, etc., for the last 3 years is magnesium, which I think is great. And especially if you are very active and you do lots of sports, etc., it helps a lot. And it helps also relaxing in the evening and so on. So magnesium is something that I take every day. But other than that, the other vitamins, you have to feel your body. Of course, when living in northern countries, obviously vitamin D is something that we must take. And usually you don't even need to check your levels. I was saying in the presentation, be careful in the dosing, but generally in northern countries, you don't even need to check, you just need to take them. Other vitamins.
Those are the two I take, vitamin D and magnesium.
Yes, other than that, there are some vitamins that are more difficult to find, like vitamin K or folate, but it depends also on what you eat. So for example, Annelise was saying that, she's a vegetarian. So then you have to be a bit careful, maybe, go through regular checkups and check the levels, etc. But yes, in general, I think that we can have everything from our food, apart from some period of the years and apart for some specific needs.
Yeah.
Well, it's suggested that zinc is a good substitute, especially now with COVID-19. A lot of research has been done, and zinc definitely plays or seems to play some protective role. The other two vitamins that I think are worth mentioning is vitamin C, because it's a very fragile vitamin, and it's destroyed by storage and transport of fruit and vegetables. So that's something that I take as well. And then vitamin B12 is also a very tricky one, and depends on your diet. You often won't get enough of. So those ones are really important. But as Christine mentioned, just be careful with D, because A, D, and E are fat soluble vitamins, and if you have too much of that, it can cause liver damage.
Yes, thank you, Taryn, for reminding me of zinc, obviously. So
Yeah.
zinc is something, but zinc is a little bit tricky because some people cannot really take it easily. It creates bloating, or they have stomach aches and things like that. So zinc is a little bit, for some people it works, for some other it doesn't really. So that's why I'm kind of, and when you ask some professionals, they tell you, zinc, no, you don't need it. So it's a little bit tricky. What I also forgot is omega-3. So this is also something that, sometimes we don't take from our food, some of the omegas. That's also important. So,
can I say something?
Yes.
There was I don't take supplements at all, but I take exactly what you said. And especially my best secret is actually waking up every morning with 3 glasses of overnight water before I start my morning.
Yeah.
And one time I decided that, I'm getting old now, I'm going to see the nutritionist. And I did. And she gave me the whole list of supplements, and I followed, and my whole blood result went haywire with high ferritin, high everything. And the doctor said I've taken too much supplements. And then when I switched off, I was perfect in my blood results.
Yeah.
So I think listen to your body, and
Yes,
also don't take too much of everything.
Yes, absolutely.
A balance.
Yes, it is really very personal. It's really all about by your individuality. It depends on the levels of your activity, on the levels of your brain activity or body activity, on the age, menopause or not menopause, hormonal problems. It's thousands of things that are connected together, of course. And as Tharian, okay, so you are a physician, yes, okay. I would add one step, and that is to have blood works done to ensure that there are no, yes, of course, well, regular checkups, yes.
Speaking of menopause, I have a question. Is there, when I lived in England, the advice was to take sage. I don't know if there's anything that you would recommend for hot flashes, which thank goodness aren't as bad as they used to be, but I still occasionally will get too warm at night.
Yes. Well, I would recommend exercise, because an exercise where you sweat, could be sauna also, by the way, because I think that helps. It doesn't completely, you will not get rid of them completely, but it helps a lot. And then what I was using, well, I still have some flashes, but less, thanks to exercise mostly, but also some essential oils can help me.
Which ones helped you?
Oh, I need to remember, but was it the, what's the basic one? I don't remember the name now. It's called.
In a diffuser or in a bath?
Lavender.
No, here. How is it called? Vincerara or something like that. But I will check that, and I will send you a message.
Thank
Yes.
you. Okay. Thank you.
But other than that, of course, exercising is good for that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exercise is good for everything, huh?
Well, yes, but then again, not always. As I was saying, if you are not the kind of person that will get pleasure out of very, strong exercising, no need really to do it. The important thing is to stay active. But for the sake of the menopause, yes, I mean, exercise where you really sweat helps.
I'm glad you said that a sauna will help as well, because that's, I'm in Sweden and that's very common to do. And I didn't realize that. I can do more of that. Thank you.
Sauna can help also.
Christine, what is overnight water?
Well, I have very, very hot water. This is my mother's medicine. And she
Yes.
said, bring it to bed, next to your bed, let it cool overnight. First thing in the morning, I get up and I drink my water before even I brush my teeth or anything. And I think that's my best medicine so far.
3 glasses, you said?
I do drink a lot. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if I drink too much as well. So I don't know.
I have heard you could drink too much. Is that something?
Yes, there is a theory saying that you shouldn't drink more than there is a kind of mathematic, I think, equation that they do that you shouldn't drink too much.
Yeah.
But then again, I think that if you drink too much, you probably get it out.
Flush. Yeah.
For me, water was a discovery. Thank God it took me many years to discover it. But really, I wasn't drinking any water at all. I mean, very little water.
Yeah. I mean, some people in England, especially, they say, oh, I hydrate a lot. And I say, what do you drink? Say, tea. No, even green tea. I drink green tea every day, like matcha and all this. But if you drink too much tea and you don't drink enough water, that's not good.
Yes.
A lot of Chinese medicine, like ginger.
Yes, ginger is very good. Yeah.
Enoki as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not perfect in my health, but I do what's your name, Isabella mentioned. And at the same time, I think our body changes as well as you get different age and different phase, and depends, like you say, the balance of exercise and food. But I tell about COVID-19. My husband and I worked a plan together. We worked at night before we go to sleep. And we go to sleep early. We make sure we have 8 hours sleep. And we go about 10-ish and we meditate 10 minutes minimum. I really have a good sleep. So we listen to something together before we fall asleep. And I think it's a way of support.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, it's obviously, all the intake, the food and so on is important. But I think, in my opinion, the rest is more important, because you can have all the broccoli in the world, all the vitamins, all the everything. If you haven't found the other sectors, kind of balance, and you haven't arranged your life in a balanced way, then, you will not be healthy.
Yeah. I understand that the absorption is the most important. Whatever you take, if I got the perfect diet, I got the perfect food, but my inside is not absorbing well. And somebody, actually lately I've taken vitamin D3, but only one tiny little one a day, not overdose, because that one works with most vitamins, D3, if I'm correct.
Yes. And you know, the other thing that I didn't insist too much on my presentation, since usually it concerns more men, especially in this expatriate community we are in, the stress, the levels of stress.
Yeah.
You know, this has been proved. I mean, it's not, you might know it better than I do, but it has been proved that, you know, when you have high levels of stress, there are inflammations happening in your body and it makes you sick. So if you don't find ways to readjust, as you said, meditation, for example, then even if you have all the good diet and a balanced diet, it will not help.
Because in meditation, you breathe and we forget to breathe.
Of course, absolutely. Breathing is essential. You know, the headaches, most of the times headaches come because we don't breathe correctly. Because when we breathe here on the upper chest, what happens is that we get completely stuck here in the neck. And at the end, you know, the whole pressure comes in the head. And this is why we have headaches. If you start learning how to breathe correctly from the belly and so on, and the diaphragm, then that is relaxed. And this is also what happens with yoga. I mean, yoga teaches that, obviously. Are there any other questions here that I didn't see? Okay. Oh, what prompted me to become a health coach? Yes. What is overnight? What is overnight water? Okay. So what prompted me to become a health coach? Well, so I was a lawyer. Then when we came to Russia for a few years, I just took it easy, and then I was involved in real estate for 12 years. It was quite demanding, you know. It was nice because I had contact with people and, you know, dealing with nice properties. So this is nice. But on the other hand, you know, it didn't really make a lot of sense. And then at a certain point, by chance, I started an online education with the Greek university, which wasn't very good. I mean, the information given was good, but the whole presentation, etc., wasn't very attractive. But it triggered me, and from that moment and on, I tried, you know, to see which is the best education I could receive. And this was anyway very close to myself and my life, because I was always, you know, very interested in healthy eating, in exercising. You know, I'm very physical. And I thought that, you know, at the age of nearly 50, it would be about time that I do something that I really like. And finally, this is what happened. And after that, I got completely, you know, in the whole thing, and I'm completely passionate about it. So it's really, I found my way, let's say.
I think that's a very nice way of finding your way, to find something completely passionate.
Yes, yes. And, you know, I wake up in the morning and I never say, oh my God, what do I have to do today? And I don't have time and wow. No, I can work 12 hours a day and I'm completely alert. So this is also, you know, passion, to find a passion, to find something that, you know, you really enjoy. It can be simple things, but when things are talking to you, then usually you have the energy to go through them.
Is there any other questions that someone maybe that we missed that someone want to ask?
Thank you. It was great. You gave us a lot of terrific information and a lot of things to think about and how to put it together. So I'm very grateful. Wonderful job.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Thank you. I'm happy you enjoyed. This is the most important. Thank you very much again for having me here. And I hope I will be able to meet you in person sometime, you know, with that whole story.
Great.
Thank you very
Isabelle.
much.
Thanks, Isabel.
Thank you so much.
And thanks everyone for joining.
Well,
Thanks
thank you
for
for
putting this
opening it up to
together.
us. It was really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Michelle, do you want to say a few last words?
No, just again, thank everyone for joining us. And it was definitely a pleasure seeing all these, well, some of the familiar faces. This is something new that we're trying to roll out, and we do hope that we'll be able to do it again, another topic. So stay tuned to AWO Moscow, and we definitely will welcome you again with open arms.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank
Bye.
you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Isabel. Ciao.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye-bye.